3D Alice from Alice in Wonderland Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish.
Hi guys! In today's video I am going to be showing you the next installment in my Disney Princesses little series, and this one's going to be Alice from Alice in Wonderland. It's got a nice little bust of Alice, and then next to that the other nail is going to be a blue with white lace on it that is kind of reminiscent of her dress and her apron. So I hope you guys like this design as much as I do, and if you are Alice in Wonderland fans, I have many other Alice in Wonderland videos, and I will post links to those in the description box, as well as another one that will be uploaded tomorrow that is the Cheshire Cat. So I hope you guys like this, and don't forget to click subscribe to see all my future videos as well.
To begin your Alice nail, I'm going to start with an overlay of a sparkly white acrylic over the background. So for all of these Disney Princess nails that I am doing in this very extended kind of lethargic series, I'm going to be using the same sparkly white background for all of my princesses, so they go together. And then I'm going to encase the nail with a layer of clear acrylic and file it into shape with my e-file. And if you guys are wondering why I called this series lethargic, that's kind of a weird way to say it, but I'm not necessarily doing them all together. This is going to be a very sporadic series with one here and one there, spread out over the course of probably the next several months. I have a lot of plans here, so if you guys like this, definitely just keep checking back periodically. There will definitely be more of them. And if you guys hate this, I know that not everyone loves Disney princesses, obviously. You know, everyone's got their cup of tea. You don't have to deal with all of them all at once. They get spread out, so you can be like, I get to deal with one every once in a while. So that's why I decided to do this instead of doing them just back to back to back. So to sculpt your Alice, I started out with Cover Pink for her. I did her face and her neck, and then with a gorgeous, very kind of almost periwinkly blue, I did her dress, and now I'm going to sculpt her little 3D collar right in there. And then I'm just going to keep making sure that her face is good. And as that face acrylic is starting to set, I use the tip of my brush to push in for her eye sockets. And then with white acrylic, I'm going to be sculpting her apron on top of her dress. So just add that. Do very little bits of acrylic at a time to do this, so that you don't end up covering up any important details like that collar you just sculpted. Or if you wanted to, you could sculpt the apron and then add the collar second, but you can do it either way. It's up to you. And I know for me, I have to use smaller bits of the white acrylic that I'm using for her dress, because it's not a 3D acrylic, it's a sculpture acrylic, and they do have a different makeup a little bit, so you can have to use them differently. Same thing with the Cover Pink. That's a sculpture acrylic. And if you guys want to know more about all these different kinds of acrylic, throw a comment in the comment section below. I can kind of go through them at some point and describe different things with them and different uses. But in general, I think you can, as long as you understand the products that you work with, you can use anything for anything. And the other thing is brands make a huge difference. So there's some rules of thumb, but for the most part, you just have to know your products. Then with yellow, I'm going to be adding her hair, and I went with more of a pastel yellow instead of like a bright sunshine yellow, just to keep it a little bit more calm, I guess. I think if it was just a true yellow, it would have looked very, like it was just too much. It would be a bit exaggerated. Then with some brown acrylic paint, I'm going to start adding little outlines around her face, beginning with her hairline, just to kind of define her face shape and get that. So I like to have, when I'm doing these little characters, whoever they are going to be, whether they're a Disney princess or some other thing, I like to get a face shape in place so that I know a better way of balancing out the facial features. So as soon as I've got that face shape outlined, as you can see, I'm going to start sketching in her face. I'm going to start with her nose, which is kind of part of my system, something I always do. And that's the same thing, kind of like with knowing your products, know yourself, and know what works best for you to start with. Some people, maybe it works best to start with the mouth, or maybe it works best to start with the left eye, or whatever your process may be. Mine, for me, is to start with the nose, but everyone's got what works best for them. And if you try something and it doesn't work out very well, please don't get discouraged. Please try to figure out what your process is, because I promise you, you will find something that works for you. And even if maybe what you tried first is what in the end is going to work best for you, that extra practice will make all the difference. So just keep working on it, and every single time you fail at something, you get closer to succeeding. So then I'm going to take, and I filled in her eyes with white, and then with black I'm going to be adding her headband and her little bow on top of her head, adding some little bits of blue in her eyes. So with the black outlines on Alice, I did more black outlines than I did on some of my other Disney princesses I have done thus far. And the reason for that is because this is an older cartoon than some of them. And because of that, she has more outlines when you look at the cartoons, and I wanted to kind of stay true to that, so I did add more black outlines. Not completely, I didn't do everything with a black outline, but here and there I did do some more of them. So around her clothes, outline her collar, outline her apron, outline her neck a little bit. You can just look at it and decide what you think needs some more definition and add it there. Add her eyelashes and her lash line, give her a pupil, just like so. And then after you have all of your painting done, you can go ahead and apply some gel sealer in the background to protect that sparkly background, and that will just make it look so glitzy and so simple and pretty. And some matte top coat over your Alice, and then I'm going to be applying some of that same blue acrylic I used for her dress to my lace nail. So that with this series, I know I've mentioned that I did all of the backgrounds to the princess nails with the sparkly white. The other nail is all going to be something that has to do with their clothing in some way or another. So some of them it might match a little bit that's on the nail, or it might be something that is like for my Ariel nail, and I'll put links to all these other videos in the description box below. For the Ariel nail, I did her tail on the accent nail, even though none of her tail showed on the other nail. But you know that she's got a tail. She's Ariel. She's a mermaid. She has a tail. So I thought that would work out well. And so for this one, because Alice's dress is fairly plain, it's just a plain blue dress with a plain white apron, I wanted to do something complimentary, but obviously I wasn't just going to do it plain. So I decided to do some little lace with the 4 suits of a deck of cards. So I started with the little outline, a little white outline of a diamond, and then I did a heart. Then I moved to the tip of the nail and I did a club and then a spade. So just do those with your little white paint, and then I added a line on either side of that to sort of block it off from the rest of the lace and make that pop out a little bit more. I wanted to really emphasize those suits. I love to play cards, something that my family does at least once a week, some game or another. Right now my mom and I are playing backgammon. I don't know if anybody plays that, but that's the game of choice we've been playing right now. Melody loves to watch us and try to steal the dice, but we are a game playing clan, so doing those, it just seems so appropriate for me personally. And then I added little loops off the side of my line, and then a couple little teardrop shapes about every other loop or every third loop, and then some polka dots between those. Very simple lace pattern, kind of my go-to lace pattern if I'm going to do one. I do these quite often on my own nails just because I love the way it looks. And like I said, it's my go-to, so if I'm ever like, I just need a little something painted in right here, this is probably very similar to what I'll be doing no matter what. Then apply some gel sealer over that gorgeous nail, and these are all done. If you guys are fans of the Alice in Wonderland, I will have a really cool Cheshire Cat video uploaded tomorrow, so check back for that. Please share any recreations with me on Facebook or Instagram, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!